Yo, what's up, swag? And you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Keon Lord, aka KL Swag. Wait 1 second, wait 1 second. Wait, wait, oh damn, wait. Right there. KL Swag back here with a video, man. Look, man, we about to react to the tragic story of Antonio Brown. The tragic story of Antonio Brown, man. Shout out to Microphone for this video, man. Let's check it out.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Some people, when they
Damn.
talk about you, they say Antonio Brown needs mental help. Do you feel like you need help?
We all need mental health.
Some people speculate that Vontaze Burfict's hit has adversely impacted your behavior after that. Is that true?
What you want me to say? You play the game long enough, everyone get hit hard. It's just the emotional part. What do you do with a guy who's been playing ball since 6? You know, I'm from Liberty City.
Damn.
I grew up in adverse areas.
Would you say that your life is out of control in any way?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, maybe.
Damn, he said, I mean, maybe.
The same man who led the 2010s in every single receiving stat, who won a Super Bowl and played for
True.
one team for nearly a decade, is also the same man who was kicked out of his own house, was a starting quarterback while homeless, and even was so intimidating other quarterbacks wouldn't dare challenge him. But before he could cap off his Hall of Fame
Wait, what? He was kicked out of his own house? What? Bro, Antonio Brown, like, rich as hell, bro. So, he got, I don't know. He got kicked out of his own house? Y'all let me know down below in the comments. What?
career, Antonio Brown's past came creeping up on him and ruined his NFL career. When did
Yeah.
Antonio Brown's career start going downhill? What started it? How predictable was it? How did one of the best players of our generation, one of the greatest come from behind stories in NFL history, get cut from his Super Bowl winning team just a week before the playoffs?
Yeah.
This is the rise and fall of Antonio Brown. Break!
Okay. Like a movie. Like I'm reacting to a movie. Yeah. 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 All right, let's get into it.
Antonio Brown nowadays might be known for his tiptoe catches and unmatched receiving ability, but before Antonio Brown was even 18, the native Floridian was riding couches, scrounging up money to get a motel room, basically
Damn.
homeless, and still at the same time the starting quarterback for his high school football team. At just the age of 16, Antonio Brown was kicked out of his mother's house after an altercation with his new stepfather, and was
Damn.
forced to live like a grown man from a young age.
My dad was away. My mom had another husband, and that relationship with me didn't find tune out really too well. And other kids, and as a teenager, I had to live with teammates and kind of find a way for myself. A young kid, 16-year-old, don't understand that you couldn't understand. And you're born in the world with your parents, and the people who brought you in the world, they abandoned you. As a kid, you would never understand that, being that in your mind, you're just the perfect kid.
Antonio Brown went to Miami Norland High School, and due to his upbringing, Brown knew how to face adverse conditions and to keep pushing
Damn,
even
dude
when
had
it seemed
grills?
like you couldn't do anymore. While going through a tough living situation, Antonio Brown still managed to be All-State in Florida twice, even managing to win the North Athlete of the Year award at the 2005 Miami-Dade Gridiron Classic. Brown was such an electric signal caller, in fact, that another quarterback you may have heard of, named Geno Smith, decided against going to Miami Norland because he feared Antonio Brown as competition.
Damn.
After a phenomenal high school career, Brown decided to enroll at North Carolina Tech Prep, a school for football players who graduated high school, but still
Wow.
aren't at the collegiate level. And here
Wow.
in just 5 games, he threw just over 1,200 yards and had a combined 24 total touchdowns through the air and on the ground. According to this 11-year-old ESPN article, the at the time 6-year-old program was accused of pumping teenagers with hopes of Division I college scholarships and vastly overstated the number of college players born of NC Tech. Former coaches say that the program, which costed several $1,000s to attend, targeted teenagers in dire straits, often from backgrounds naive to recruiting and eligibility guidelines who either don't meet NCAA academic standards or fail to attract college scholarship offers, very similar to Antonio Brown's background. Now, no students attended class full-time on the NC Tech campus, which consisted of leased space in an office park south of downtown. The school year that began in July is already complete, and even before the class of 2011 bid a final goodbye, the NCAA Eligibility Center in late October flagged the program's curriculum as not meeting the standards for the second time in as many years. Now, almost a decade later, Antonio Brown, who at the time didn't have the NCAA required test scores to get into Alcorn State after high school, and as a result needed to go to North Carolina Tech before landing a spot with Central Michigan University, literally denounced the school, saying that he did not approve of the school's sales pitch that includes references to him. After this, the star Floridian transplant decided to take his football career to the next level, but no one, not even Antonio himself, could predict what would happen next. Before Antonio Brown could ever walk on at Central Michigan University, the native Floridian tried to get into local schools like Florida State.
So he walked on to Central Michigan? Bro, I did not know that, bro. That's crazy, bro. Bro, think about it. It's like one of the best receivers in the NFL right now, bro. He walked on. Damn.
And Florida International University. But after being involved in an altercation with a security guard and having bad high school grades, Brown's scholarships were rescinded, and he was forced to walk on to Central Michigan University to follow the one man who heavily recruited Brown out of high school, head coach Butch Jones. Jones convinced Brown to move to wide receiver full-time, and in his freshman year, the undersized wideout caught just over 100 balls for over 1,000 yards and even managed to score 6 touchdowns. Talk about making an instant impact. Brown would earn himself a scholarship at Central Michigan University, and with the help of the freshman sensation, Central Michigan managed to win the MAC Conference and qualify for a bowl game with an 8-5 record, highlighted by a Week 12 victory over Akron, where Antonio Brown hauled in 15 balls for a total of 174 yards. Going into his sophomore year, he was going to take on a bigger role, and in one last game the year prior, the wide receiver caught 93 receptions for just under 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns, along with over 1,200 yards in kick and punt returns alone. Brown would continue to make a name for himself, as in the bowl game that year against FAU, the second-year wideout would catch 11 passes for just under 100 yards in a 24-21 loss. By this time, Brown wasn't on many draft boards, and going into his junior season, he knew he needed to show out in order to even be mentioned in the same breath as the NFL draft.
That's true.
And show out he would do. In his final year at Central Michigan, the third-year wideout put up career highs in all 3 of the major receiving statistics, as in 14 games he caught 110 receptions for just under 1,200 receiving yards and had a combined 12 touchdowns via the air and ground. Brown would go on to win the only bowl game of his collegiate career in a 44-41 shootout against Troy, where he balled out, hauling in a season-high 13 receptions for 178 yards.
Damn.
3 seasons at Central Michigan, Brown had caught 305 passes, recorded 3,199 yards, and hauled in 22 touchdowns, the latter both being top 5 in program history.
Crazy.
Following his phenomenal under-the-radar college career, Antonio Brown would declare for the 2010 NFL Draft, and no one knew or even had a hunch about what Antonio Brown would go on to do in the 2010s decade. Not even the greatest NFL scout knew, as every single team passed on him, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 5 times. If you told them he'd be a record breaker by his second year in the NFL, they might have changed their mind.
Damn.
Instinct deficiencies will make it difficult to separate the next
Bro, that's
level.
crazy, bro.
Could have used another year of development. Character concerns could limit his appeal and knock him off draft boards.
NFL projection, late draftable pick. Well, I think the only thing they got right there was late draftable pick. That's what he was.
After being passed on 5 separate times by the Pittsburgh Steelers, in the 6th round with pick number 195, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected the undersized receiver out of Central Michigan, Antonio Brown. Brown didn't blow anyone away with his physical tool set, as in the combine he had just posted a 4.48 40-yard dash and
Not
14
bad.
reps on the bench press. So it's not like Antonio Brown had any physical prowess that put him above and beyond. In fact, in the 2010 NFL draft class,
And he broke that
Antonio
dude.
Brown was the 22nd overall wide receiver chosen, behind guys like Eric Decker, Golden Tate, and even fellow rookie Steelers receiver Emmanuel Sanders. Despite being picked so late, Antonio Brown managed to claim a spot on the roster, splitting time with fellow rookie Emmanuel Sanders as wide receiver number 5 on the depth chart. In his rookie season, Brown appeared in just 9 games, catching just over 100 yards on 16 receptions for no touchdowns. Going into year 2, however, was when the wide receiver really started to show what he could do. In his second year as a Pittsburgh Steeler, the Central Michigan product hauled in just over 1,100 yards and 2 touchdowns, but also had over 1,000 total yards returning punts and kicks, as he became the first ever player in NFL history with 1,000 yards receiving and returning. This helped the undersized wideout make the first Pro Bowl of his career and would set him on the path of stardom and fame, which usually ends up with a gold jacket in Canton. However, unfortunately for Antonio Brown, it would eventually become his downfall, and no one would see it coming.
Wow.
Have you ever wondered what actors and actresses do when they have to get in shape really fast for a movie?
Wow.
Before the start of the 2012 season, third-year wide receiver Antonio Brown signed a 5-year, $42.5 million contract extension, which included an $8.5 million signing bonus. After signing the contract and being named the team's starting receiver, Antonio Brown,
he deserved it, bro. He worked
via
hard.
Ryan Clark, told defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau and defensive players during practice, "Don't touch me, I'm the franchise."
Quick story, Antonio Brown is walking past the weight room in training camp. And right now we hear that Mike Wallace has turned down his deal. Antonio's going into his 3rd year. You hear that Mike Wallace has turned down his deal. And I knew already that they were going to offer Antonio. And he's walking past, and I turn to the strength coach and I say, when you give him money, you're going to create a monster. That day in practice, Antonio and I almost get into a fight because he's saying things to Coach LeBeau. He's screaming at Coach LeBeau, screaming at us defensively, "Don't touch me, I'm the franchise," this and that, because he already had that mindset, and now with success, with money, these things come.
This would be a foreshadowing of Antonio Brown's future antics, and plenty of worse incidents would come to follow. And if you don't believe me, you need to see them for yourself to see just how bad it gets in the rest of his video. The 2012 NFL season was an uncharacteristic struggle for Antonio Brown, as he never had a 100-yard receiving game in the season. And in Week 9 against the New York Giants, Brown would go down with a high ankle sprain that caused the star wide receiver to miss 3 games and hampered him the rest of the season. Despite this lackluster season, Brown still managed to finish with nearly 800 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns.
Not
the
bad,
2012
not too
campaign
bad.
was anything but a coming out show for the now 25-year-old wide receiver. And going into 2013, Antonio wanted to make sure people knew that 2011 wasn't a fluke and that he was going to be a force for years to come. Despite this, not even the biggest Steelers fan at the time could predict what Antonio Brown would go on to do for the franchise. In Week 3 of the 2013 NFL season, Brown...
Because I'm not going to lie, bro. I really think I thought Antonio Brown was going to stay with them forever, bro. I thought Antonio Brown was going to be a straight Steelers type Hall of Famer. Like, he was going to be there forever until all that other stuff happened, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Brown finally had his coming out party against the Chicago Bears as the Pittsburgh Steelers lost big 40-23. Despite the lopsided score, Brown hauled in 9 balls for 196 receiving yards and a pair of touchdowns.
Wow.
As after that, Brown made sure everyone who was a fan of football knew his name. Brown would go on to have the best season of his career up to that point, as he caught 110 receptions, nearly 1,500 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns en route to making his second career Pro Bowl. Brown also shattered some more records as he broke the Steelers' record for receiving yards in a season previously held by Yancey Thigpen, and became the first player in NFL history to have at least 5 receptions and 50 yards receiving in each game that season. Brown was a bona fide superstar in the NFL, and many thought that was the peak for the undersized wide receiver out of Central Michigan. But in the following seasons, Antonio Brown would go on to do things no other wide receiver in NFL history
he's the
could
best
match,
receiver.
not even Julio Jones. The 2014 season would kick off Antonio Brown's prime, as it started off remarkably for Antonio Brown. In the season opener, he caught 5 receptions for 116 passing yards, but most importantly, on a punt return, managed to famously kick the Browns' punter, Spencer Lanning, directly in the face.
He did kick him in his face.
Switch and music even Shawn
Kick
Michaels
him in his
would be
face
proud
bad.
of. But after the incident, the NFL fined Antonio Brown $8,200
Not
for
bad,
his
it's not
antics and lackluster apology afterward. The
That's not bad, but
2014 season will
damn.
continue to be one of Antonio Brown's best, as in Week 9 against the Baltimore Ravens, the stud wideout caught a season-high 11 receptions for another season-high 149 receiving yards and a touchdown. Brown finished the season leading the NFL in receptions with 129 and leading the NFL in yards with 1,698. Brown even managed to catch a team-leading 13 touchdowns while making his 3rd Pro Bowl and being named AP First Team All-Pro for the first time in his career. Brown wouldn't stop his dominance there, however, as in the following 2015 NFL season, the superstar wideout once again led the NFL in receptions. This time with an astonishing 136 grabs, had 1,834 receiving yards, and once again, double-digit touchdowns.
Oh
Brown
my
once
gosh.
again was named to the Pro Bowl and named First Team All-Pro for the 2nd time in his career, as he marked his place in NFL history, as he was named the best wide receiver in the NFL and 4th
Which he still
overall
is.
in the NFL's top 100 list of 2015, which is voted upon by other NFL players. Following the 2015 season, the stud wideout played in the wild card round versus the division rival Cincinnati Bengals. In the game, he was hit in the head by, ironically, a future teammate in Vontaze Burfict, and was not seen moving on the field for minutes afterward. Although Antonio Brown eventually recovered and continued playing the next season,
Vontaze Burfict
many
was just
speculate this may
dirty.
have been the cause of Antonio Brown's future antics, because after this hit, he may have sustained permanent brain damage.
Man, after it was all over, I swear to Joey. Joey told me he came out and was talking to me on the field, and I was laying down, talking to him perfectly. But I couldn't even remember even having a conversation with him.
We have a completely
Damn.
separate video on Vontaze Burfict, and we'll leave that in the end screen of this video. Again, this is purely speculation, and there is no evidence to support this conspiracy. However, the supporting argument is Brown, up until this point, had very few career incidents that would make him a locker room issue. But believe it or not, this would be Antonio Brown's last season that didn't have any incidents or any fines. As the start of the next season would mark a downward spiral in his life. Antonio Brown would never recover from, despite just getting better and
Oh my god. Oh my god, I forgot all about that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro, I did not expect that. Bro, I did not expect that, bro. We gotta go back one more time. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh my god.
video. Again, this is purely
I did not expect
speculation,
that. I
and there
forgot
is
that
no
thing
evidence
fell
to
on him.
support this conspiracy. However, the supporting argument
Oh
is
my
Brown,
gosh.
up until this point, had very few career
Oh my
incidents
gosh,
that
I
would
did not
make him a
expect
locker
that.
room issue. But believe it or not, this
Bro.
would be Antonio Brown's last season that didn't
Oh my
have any
gosh.
incidents or any fines, as the start of the next season would mark a downward spiral in his life. Antonio Brown would never recover from, despite just getting better and better as a football player. The start of the 2016 season was just like any other start to
This
the year
dude
for
is
AB.
funny, bro.
In the season opener against the Washington Redskins on Monday Night Football, in front of the whole nation, Antonio Brown put on a clinic, catching a pair of touchdowns on 8 receptions.
He did. He went
totaling
off.
just over 125 yards, as the Steelers blew by the Washington Redskins 38-16. Following the game, however, Antonio Brown was fined a combined $15,000 for simply
Damn.
wearing baby blue cleats, which went against the NFL's uniform policy. Oh, and also twerking after scoring a touchdown. Brown was also
Damn.
fined again for doing
Got a
the
big butt.
exact same
All right,
touchdown
I'm just kidding.
celebration
All right,
against
guys,
the
I'm
Kansas
just
City
kidding.
Chiefs.
Gotta clip that.
In the first 4 weeks of the 2016 campaign, Antonio Brown had already racked up an astonishing $40,000 price tag for simply just twerking too much. So if you think
Damn.
today's rules of no celebrating and
Really?
taunting are strict, remember that you couldn't twerk after scoring a touchdown in 2016.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious, bro? What?
All new sausage and gravy
What?
wraps for those who like
Yeah, that looks- that's-
on the go.
There was a time for the slop, not anymore. See, this
Kevin
is
Bacon.
our time to dance. This is our way of celebrating life.
Despite the
he's
league's
twerking.
best effort of trying to keep business from booming, Antonio Brown finished the season with 106 receptions,
Pit from the palace. The
1,284
pit from the
yards,
palace.
and 12 touchdowns. Antonio Brown was named to the Pro Bowl once again, and for the third time in his career, was named AP First Team All-Pro. Following winning
Okay.
the AFC North Division, going 11-5, and then beating the Miami Dolphins in the wild card round 30-12, Antonio Brown had one of the biggest playoff performances of his career as he caught 6 balls for 108 passing yards as the Pittsburgh Steelers narrowly knocked off the Kansas City Chiefs 18-16.
Damn.
Following the game, however, despite
Close
pleas from
game.
team captain Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin previously to keep quiet on social media during their playoff run, post-game Antonio Brown took to Facebook Live to broadcast Mike Tomlin's post-game speech.
Keep it low profile. Let's get ready to ball up this up again here in a few days and be right back at it.
The Steelers would lose the following game to the Patriots by a score of 36-17,
Hey, I know.
despite Antonio Brown's best efforts. Before the start of the 2017 season, the Pittsburgh Steelers gave Antonio Brown yet another 4-year extension, this time worth $68 million, making him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, and deservedly so. Antonio Brown's 2017 campaign started right where Antonio Brown left off, as in Week 1 versus the Cleveland Browns, Antonio Brown hauled in 11 receptions on 11 targets for just over 180 yards.
Damn.
Absolutely clinical. Brown would go on to have one of his best seasons to date. However, in Week 4, during a 26-9 dominant victory over the Baltimore Ravens, on the sideline, Antonio Brown became frustrated as he had
Damn,
just
chill,
4
AB.
receptions for
Damn,
34 yards and
chill,
proceeded
AB.
to yell at coaches
Come on, bro.
and at Ben Roethlisberger. He would even knock over a Gatorade cooler as a result of this. After this altercation, Brown would simmer down, and in Week 14 in the rematch against the Baltimore Ravens, Antonio Brown would put up a career day as he caught 11 passes for just over 210 yards. With the help of Brown's dominant performance, the Steelers would win the AFC North and would go on to make a playoff run. However, before Brown could help the Steelers moving forward, in Week 15
Not
against
working,
the
man.
Patriots, Brown
Patriots.
suffered a partially torn left calf and would only return just in
Damn.
time to help contribute 132 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns
Ah.
as the Steelers fell just short of the AFC Championship,
Got hurt.
losing 42-45 to Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Also, the Jacksonville Jaguars are good now.
Impossible.
I'm serious.
Antonio Brown finished the 2017 season with just over 100 receptions, a league-leading 1,533 passing
This is
yards,
good.
and 9 touchdowns. For the final time in his career, Antonio Brown would be named AP First Team All-Pro and would make yet another Pro Bowl. Going into the
like
first
that.
year of Antonio Brown's 4-year extension, no one could have told you it was going to be his final year in Pittsburgh. As in the 2018 campaign during the season opener against the Browns, Antonio Brown eclipsed the 10,000 receiving yard mark and became the third fastest wide receiver to do so, placing himself in the elite company of Julio Jones and Calvin Johnson. He finished the game with 9 receptions for just over 90 yards and a touchdown. Antonio Brown would continue to light up box scores. However, he also lit up headlines as on October 9th, 2018, Antonio Brown was accused of nearly killing a toddler as he was throwing furniture out of his 14th story
What?
apartment. All charges were dropped, however, after Antonio Brown blamed it on a friend and promised to pay for the child's college fund. But
What?
this will be the final 2018 Antonio Brown headline for the season, right? Right? Wrong. Because, of course, leading up to the now infamous Week 17 game, Antonio Brown had reportedly been missing multiple practices and even got into a heated altercation with quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. And as a
Wow.
result, was benched as the Pittsburgh Steelers went 9-6-1 and missed the playoffs. Brown finished with 104 receptions for 1,297 yards and a league-leading 15 touchdowns as he was named to the 7th and final Pro Bowl of his career. No one would know it yet,
I remember
but
that
Week
one.
16 of 2018 would be Antonio Brown's final game ever as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and no one could predict what would happen next in Antonio Brown's career. Not even Mr. Big Chest himself. Following the 2018 NFL season, Brown made his frustrations with the Pittsburgh Steelers organization public and requested a trade soon after. Initially, a deal to send the former All-Pro to the Buffalo Bills was all but final. But after
It's just, bro, it's really a lot of stuff that's going on. That's really what it is, bro. He got a lot of off-field stuff that's just like going on, which he just need to change. That's about it, bro. He's a great, amazing receiver.
Antonio Brown made it known that he wouldn't play in Buffalo no matter what. He was traded to the Oakland Raiders instead for just a 3rd and 5th round pick.
Okay.
Following the trade in a press conference, Brown promised to elevate those around him.
I mean, I'm here to help the program in all regards. You know, I'm here to make guys better around me. I'm here to elevate everything around me. I'm here to just be a surge of energy, of positivity.
I remember that.
Good force, a great teammate, and bring out the best to everyone around me because we all know it's not just about me.
But before Brown could ever suit up in the silver and black, due to wearing improper footwear, Antonio Brown got frostbite on his feet and revealed
Ouch.
it to the world by posting a picture of his feet onto Instagram. Antonio Brown crawled so Aaron Rodgers could walk. Despite this, the Raiders were positive about the addition of Brown. However, in mid-August, Antonio Brown threatened to retire if he wasn't allowed to practice or play in an old-school-style helmet that Brown had been using his whole career. Despite this, the Raiders were still positive,
Ooh, nice
simply
catch.
fining Brown for just missing practice. But Brown took this personally, posting the letter from Mike Mayock onto Instagram with the caption, "When your own team wants to hate, but there's no stopping me now, devil is a lie. Everyone got to pay this year, so we clear."
Ooh.
The following day at practice, Antonio Brown reportedly had gotten into a heated confrontation with general manager Mike Mayock, which resulted in Brown calling him a cracker, threatening to beat him up, punting a football, then yelling, "Find me for that." And then the Raiders proceeded to fine him for that. The next day, Antonio Brown made a half-hearted apology and would be cut from the team soon after. After never suiting up for the Raiders, the only team that had the audacity to even touch Antonio Brown was, of course, the New England Patriots. Initially,
Wow.
Brown's future with the Patriots was in question.
Yeah,
as
bro, I
in
wanted him to
September of
stay.
2019, multiple civil suits were filed against him, including by his former trainer for sexual assault, among other things, and also for pushing around his ex-fiancée after she reportedly was asking for a haircut reimbursement previously in the year. Brown's attorney called these allegations baseless, and Brown would go on to play in Week 2 for the New England Patriots, where he hauled in a touchdown along with 54 yards.
Yeah.
Shortly after the game, however, threatening text messages sent by Brown after the initial allegations were leaked. And on September 20th, the New England Patriots released Antonio Brown.
Which
In
I
the
hated.
following days, Antonio Brown would say he is retired from football. However, a few days later would express interest in playing. This wouldn't stop there, as during the whole offseason, Antonio Brown would make these baseless claims, and then for a few hours or days later, say he wanted to play football again. During the offseason, as Antonio Brown had cleared up his legal situation, he was handed an 8-game suspension for violating the league's personal conduct policy.
Damn, 8 games
He would
is a
be
lot,
forced
bro.
to miss the first 8 games of the season. Even if he was miraculously signed, this might seem like the end for AB. but somehow, some way, he would eventually reach the pinnacle of the sport and shocked even the biggest of doubters.
Damn.
On October 27th, 2020, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers gave Antonio Brown another chance to play football, signing Antonio Brown to a one-year contract.
Which is really good,
The
man.
Buccaneers signed Antonio
He's a great
Brown,
player.
Tom Brady. Brady had been a bit
Brady.
why
Yeah, Brady
Antonio
helped him
Brown
out.
was initially brought into New England. And now that the ageless wonder was down in Tampa, it made sense for the wide receiver to follow him down there.
True.
Following the suspension, Antonio Brown would play in 8 games, starting just 4 as he caught 45 receptions for nearly 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. With the help of AB, the Buccaneers' offense started clicking down the stretch. And after a miraculous run where Antonio Brown made some improbable catches, the Buccaneers found themselves in the Super Bowl. Somehow, some way, just a few short years after being cut from the Raiders and being traded by the Steelers, Antonio Brown found himself on the doorstep of being a world champion.
Which
And
he
with the
is.
help of Tom Brady, Antonio Brown would find his way into the end zone as he would score a touchdown in the Super Bowl and played an important role as to why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9. Antonio Brown was now a Super Bowl champion, and Antonio
Got a
Brown
ring.
would stay with the
He has a
Buccaneers
ring.
after his championship run, as in April, he signed a one-year contract to remain in Tampa Bay. Going into the 2021 season, Brown spent time on and off the COVID list, playing in just 7 total games. However, on December 2nd, Antonio Brown was found to have faked his vaccination card and had claimed to have gotten it from a former personal chef. As a result, Brown was suspended 3 games. Against the New York Jets, Antonio Brown had reportedly refused to play due to a lagging injury, and Bruce Arians told him to go. Brown took that literally as he made a scene on the sideline as he tossed his helmet and shoulder pads to the side, took off his undershirt, threw it into the crowd, and walked off doing jumping jacks. In the following days, Antonio Brown would release a statement stating the reason he left the field so suddenly was because head coach Bruce Arians was trying to force him to play through an injury. Brown would go on to say the ankle ligament was torn from the ankle bone. He was injected with a dangerous painkiller and that he would have proof in the form of an MRI soon after. AB then released text messages between him and Bruce Arians, which showed Bruce Arians was well aware of Antonio Brown's injury pre-game, which contradicts what Arians told the media directly after the game. When you take into account that Antonio Brown has a history of faking stuff like his COVID vaccination card, of course, the validity of these text messages should be called into question. The next day, per Adam Schefter, Jason Licht, the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, said that Antonio Brown had requested $2 million in incentives to be guaranteed, which the Tampa Bay Buccaneers declined, and that Antonio Brown had never once told any coach or medical assistant on Sunday that his ankle was injured. Later on in the same day, Bruce Arians would have a press conference where he announced the official release of Antonio Brown, and that the real reason the star wideout left the field on Sunday was because he wasn't getting enough targets in the game.
We let Antonio go today. Just to clear you up on some things that happened. At no point in time during that game did he ever ask the trainer or doctor about his ankle. He was very upset at halftime about who was getting targeted. Got that calmed down. Players took care of that. It started again on the sideline. We called for the personnel group that he had played in the entire game.
Okay, Bruce Arians, tell the truth. Let me hear it.
That's when I looked back and saw him basically wave off the coach. I then went back, approached him about what was going on. I ain't playing. What's going on? I ain't getting the ball. That's when I said, "You're done. Get the F out of here."
Damn.
And that's the end of it.
General Manager Jason Licht would go on to say in a thread of Adam Schefter tweets that the alleged MRI and medical information Brown was speaking about was never manifested, and that any efforts to work with the former Bucs wide receiver were ignored.
But it's like, who do we believe, bro? Like, it's he's saying his ankle, he's saying they didn't listen to him. It's a lot, bro.
In the words of Bruce Arians,
you can't force a player to play. You can't force a player to play. I mean, they have that choice. It's their body.
As
Yeah.
of now, there is no telling which side is telling the truth. And it just seems like a
Yeah.
he said, she said situation. But
Yeah.
before you thought things couldn't get any crazier, they got even more insane. A day after all of this information was released, right when it looked like the story couldn't get any more drama-filled, Antonio Brown was exposed by a toilet-licking, master's degree-having, drama-stirring OnlyFans model named Ava Louise. For all the controversy Louise has been in, credit where credit is due, she is incredibly good and talented at stirring the pot. A day after the official release of Brown, Louise came out with screenshots exposing Antonio Brown for sneaking her into a team hotel before the Jets and the Buccaneers game. She would go on to say that AB was a nice guy, but not quote-unquote all there. Said he played his highlights for entertainment before going to bed, and finally said he only lasted 30 seconds. Of course, all this doesn't really matter, but what is important is Antonio Brown sneaking in a girl during the pandemic just to get some and ignoring the danger it could cause to his teammates. Then when things seemed like it couldn't get any worse for AB, he decided to go on the Full Send podcast.
Yeah,
where he
I
would
remember
say
that.
contradictory and harsh statements on his former teammate Tom Brady, who remember
Okay.
was the only reason AB even got a third or fourth chance in the NFL, and the only reason he was still playing to begin with.
Okay, yeah, that's
You
true.
guys called me to win the Super Bowl after a suspension. I come and help him do that. If Tom
Which he's
Brady
right
won,
about, too.
Why am I playing for earning salary?
Right.
You my boy though, right? Gronkowski is boy, right? How much did he get paid?
Significant amount.
All right, so why is AB on
Okay.
the prove deal?
Well, for starters,
Okay,
Tom
that
Brady
makes
isn't the
sense.
general manager. Yes, he may get decisions and choices of players on the roster.
Yeah.
He is not the one handing out contracts and deciding numbers.
Yeah, that's true,
Secondly,
that's true.
Rob Gronkowski is only getting paid $10 million with incentives compared to Antonio Brown's $3 million contract with incentives. It's not like Rob Gronkowski is getting paid a boatload. Plus, Gronkowski has a decade's worth of rapport with Tom Brady that makes
Yeah.
the $10 million he's being paid priceless. Antonio
Yeah.
Brown, on the other hand, hasn't had one of his trademark seasons since 2018 and instead has been in the headlines for a handful of off-the-field issues. If AB is seriously complaining about his salary, maybe he should have signed somewhere else besides Tampa Bay last offseason.
That's true. That's
But
true.
no one else wanted to sign him because he's a head case and Tom Brady was the only one who believed in him. Yet, here's Antonio Brown trashing him. AB would go on to say that he was the most talented player on the team and that no one else on the team was even close to him.
I mean,
Who's
he is the
better
best
than me over
receiver.
there? Let's be real.
He is the
Right,
best
but
receiver.
No, let's not be right. Let's be honest.
Honest,
Let's
honest,
be
honest,
real.
honest.
Who's the best guy over there? Since you guys know football.
He's the best
Sure.
receiver there.
Who's the best guy over at that team?
No,
Playing
AB. Football, receiver-wise,
AB.
who is the
AB.
guy that get it popping?
It's
I
AB.
I think it was AB.
It's a combination now.
Dude, I've always said, for me, I've watched you
But
play.
you got a right to your opinion, bro. I'm not trying to force your opinion.
No,
I'm
you're
not trying
good.
to force your
I'm
opinion.
just a diehard Brady fan.
Listen, man, it is what it is. It's not about being a fan. It's about being a realistic humanity, a human.
Damn, he went off.
That's what it's about, bro. A Brady fan, Brady can't do shit by himself.
That's
but
true.
You guys gonna make it seem like he just this horror guy. Bro, we all humans, bro. We all dependent on someone else to do the job. Just like you
That's
say,
true.
You depend
That's
on
true.
The video team, the audio team. You count on people to set this up.
Right.
So you don't think he helped you at all, Brady?
Now you saying who helped? Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm saying what's the realistic right now. How did he help me? Would he help my career to come back?
Yes, he did. AB, he literally did.
He did,
Later,
he
when
did.
asked about staying at Tom Brady's house,
He did.
AB basically wrote it off as a PR stunt for Brady, saying,
Because they helped
Letting you stay at
him.
his house and shit. And
Bro, stay at his house. I got my own money, bro.
I like,
You guys know who I am?
I like the fact
I don't need to
that
stay at no one's house. I got my own house. Guys do that to influence you guys in the public. Like, oh, he's at Tom's house. Then he's maybe a good guy.
I mean, was he? Was
AB,
he?
since this podcast, hasn't released any new information or press releases and is standing by every word he said.
Damn.
But there is this very strange clip of him, Kanye West,
Madonna.
Julia Fox, and Floyd Mayweather all sitting down with one another looking like they are on ecstasy on a couch. It's kind of a sad sight, man, because it seems like each and every person on this couch looks like they're going through a midlife crisis. Antonio Brown was a humble young man who came from a rough background, who had to walk onto Central Michigan to even get an opportunity.
That's crazy, bro.
AB has proven that when given an opportunity, he will make the most of it. And in his tenure in the NFL, caught more yards, more receptions, and more touchdowns than any wide receiver from the year 2010 to 2020. No other player could do what Antonio Brown did in his prime.
Yeah.
And his body of work is unmatchable. Later in his career, Antonio Brown let his ego and fame get the better of him, getting into countless incidents and even more that will probably go unreported. Brown had one more chance in the NFL, won a Super Bowl, and quite literally left the game on his own accord. And that's more than most NFL players get to say. But is Antonio Brown even responsible for his own actions, or could a specific traumatic incident in his career have resulted in this once soft-spoken wide receiver absolutely losing grip of reality?
I feel like if you stable within, that's where it starts. We all can wear a smile on the outside. It can be feeling bad inside. For me, it started feeling happy within and enjoy the shit. So you don't fake my smile. Your smile because you're genuinely happy inside. Absolutely. I think I feel it more in my heart than you see on my face.
Damn.
Carry on the wood. Get no better. Pretty awesome setup. It's pretty nice.
Wow, bro. Microphone, bro. This was a great video, man. Everything that you said was damn near about right, man. Antonio Brown had his little saying too that, you know, he was about right about a couple things too, bro, if you guys really listen, man. But yeah, man, you guys let me know down below what you guys think, bro. I love you guys. See you guys in the next video, man. Oh my God, bro. That was a great story, bro. Half of that stuff I did not know, bro. I did not know he walked on to Central Michigan. Damn. Great video, bro.